Right. Thank you, Yunus. Okay, let's start. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first Kigali Declaration webinar. Thank you for joining us. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Lubna Msidini, and I'm the program support personnel for African Women in Media. And I've been fortunate to work closely on the declaration to support its implementation and to engage with the signatories. So before we dive into the agenda, I'd like to invite MSC, African Women in Media CEO and co-founder, to introduce herself. MSC, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lobnan. Good morning, colleagues. Good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you for joining us for this critical discussion. My name is Dr. Yemisi Akim Bobola, co-founder and CEO of African Women in Media, and most of you on the call today know who we are. And so I think there's no need for an elaborate introduction, but we are an international NGO working towards gender equality in and through media in Africa. We initially started as a Facebook group in 2016 and held our first conference in 2017. And today we have a range of initiatives that respond to the insights we've gained through our research on lived experiences of women journalists in Africa, and what an enabling environment should look like for them. So my colleagues will be sharing in the chat a link to our main website so you can read more about our WIM. Now, at the African Women in Media Conference in 2023, so last year in Kigali, Rwanda, we achieved a historic moment. It was the first time that a community of media actors, leaders, academics, development organizations will co-design and adopt an instrument to address the various forms of violence that women journalists experience in the line of work, and also how media represents and reports gender-based violence. And that instrument is the Kigali Declaration on the Elimination of Gender Violence in and through media in Africa by 2034. It's quite a mouthful, so please permit me to refer to it as the Kigali Declaration. So the Kigali Declaration is an action plan that sets a minimum standard for all stakeholders that impact how media functions in relations to African women and gender-based violence. And through the minimum requirements and actions that it sets for these stakeholders, it invites media organizations, associations, unions, training institutes, researchers, media development organizations, funders, individual content creators, as well as platforms and regulators to adopt and implement its core principles around gender violence. And these core principles are gender ethical journalism, fair, balanced, and unbiased reporting, non-discriminatory coverage, implementation of policies and training around gender-based violence, and most importantly, taking action. Again, I think that's a key word there is action taken. Over the last 12 months, our women has assembled an advisory committee, which is chaired by Jemima Burke from Namibia, to guide our work on the Kigali Declaration. Our partners, For Your Media Institute, also has awarded around $5,000 worth of grants to organizations and individuals who have implemented the declaration in Rwanda. And through the IPDC framework, UNESCO has supported us to launch our TRACT project, a project called TRACT, which we'll share with you in chat, which will see us develop tools and resources to support newsrooms to adopt the declaration. In addition, through the support of the African Women Development Fund, we've started a 2-year project in Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, and Togo around coverage of violence, media coverage of violence against women and girls in those countries. And that particular project builds on a 3-year project in Nigeria with the same core objectives. So I really look forward to, as you know, many of you know, we have our conference coming up next week, in Dakar on the 5th and 6th of December next week in Dakar, Senegal, where we'll share a lot more around the successes. Today, though, we are pleased to launch the Declaration platform, and we're using this opportunity to reconnect with those of you who have signed the declaration, but they'll also introduce it to those of you who are yet to be familiar with it. We will share how we have implemented your suggestions on how to instrumentalize the declaration, and so that it doesn't remain kind of a dormant document. And this starts with revealing a reveal it to. It starts with unveiling our walkthrough of the platform to show what we have developed, which is not just a site, a website, or a platform, but a system that allows you to sign, to use the dashboard to action plan. So it enables you to action plan and also to document those actions and things that you've put in place as part of the process of implementing the Kigali Declaration. As I said, we have an advisory committee, and part of their job also would be to be reviewing this work that you submit to us as evidence of you implemented the declaration. And later on, I'll talk you through more around how we are ranking and using a kind of ranking system to reward those who have committed to the and submitted action plans to the Kigali Declaration. Okay, so thank you again for joining us this morning. Right now, I'd like to hand over to Agneta Soderberg Jacobson, who is a senior gender advisor from For Your Media Institute. Over to you, Agneta.
Thank you so much, Yumisi. And yes, I'm Agneta Soderberg Jacobson and the senior gender advisor with FOYO. We are we're a proud signatory of the Kigali Declaration, and we have been part of the process since the beginning. And we have, since I think we started collaborating with AWIM in 2018 or something, we worked together on different projects. Among other things, we've done something that we call the barrier studies, where we have looked at women media professionals' work conditions, and we've done that in the sub-Saharan region, in Rwanda, and we're now doing it in Ethiopia. So that is one previous project. And as Simisi mentioned, last year, the AWIM conference was in Kigali, and FOYO were partnering with AWIM for that conference. And since the declaration was got its final shape and was adopted in Kigali, it has got a strong local resonance in Kigali, or in Rwanda, I would say. And FOYO, we have supported that, as Yumisi was mentioning, by setting up a fund so local actors can apply to do different kinds of projects that are aligned with the Kigali Declaration. And so far, we've had 3 funded projects under this project. So, and we are planning to continue that, and we believe that the next country will probably be Ethiopia, where we do a similar fund. And of course, we're also looking forward to the next conference in Dakar, Senegal, where we're going to do a joint presentation, AWIM and FOYO, to take stock and see how far we've come with the declaration and how we can push this best forward together with all stakeholders. And yes, I think that was about all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you both, Dr. Yumisi and Agneta. Let me remind you of our agenda. So first we will hear a detailed walkthrough of the Kigali Declaration platform and its latest updates from Sam, our developer. And then Dr. Yumisi will present the new ranking system budgets and their role in tracking progress of the signatories. And after that, I will share highlights from the Declaration's 16 Days of Activism campaign. And finally, we will open the floor for your questions and feedback before closing the session. So I want to add just some clarification about the Kigali Declaration. Dr. Yumisi shared what is African women in media and what is the Kigali Declaration. So I want to highlight that the Declaration is a collective commitment to transform how media addresses gender-based violence. It is co-designed and adopted during the African Women in Media 2023 conference in Kigali, Rwanda, and it brings together journalists, media practitioners and policymakers and advocates to work toward eliminating gender-based violence in and through media by 2034. So this declaration is built on a vision of a media landscape that really values safety and accountability. So it challenges media organizations to commit to ethical reporting on gender issues, to adopt gender-sensitive policies, and advocate for safe work environments. So it is more than a framework, it's like a movement to empower media practitioners and create a safer future for all. Now let's take a closer look at the declaration platform. So I'm pleased to hand over to Sam, who has worked tirelessly to enhance the platform's usability and features. Sam, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Lobna. So my name is Samuel. I've been working with the African Women in Media and supporting the various platforms. And today now I'll showcase the platform. We've worked on it for quite some time, and we believe that right now it's ready to go. So allow me to share my screen. And let me know if everyone can see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll start with basically the declaration. The Kigali Declaration website is a microsite, meaning it's running as an independent platform, but getting some data from the main website. So to navigate, you access the main African Women in Media website. And at the top, there is a button which leads you to the Kigali Declaration. So when you click on it, you will see an introduction. So there's this paragraph talking about giving a brief introduction to the Kigali Declaration. And there is a newsletter. So if you click on the newsletter, it's the first newsletter. So it's a document which is downloadable and you can read it online. So at the bottom, there is the content. We have a navigation on the right-hand side to view all the 7 action points for the declaration. So the next thing we talk about the declaration. So in the about section, we have a video. The video highlights on the process of signing up and proceeding all the way to signing. So Joe will share with you the link to the video. It's a helper, or rather an explainer video of the process. So again, we have another paragraph which talks more about now the people involved. There's also a call to action button to view the newsletter. So we have highlighted the committee members. So there's the subcommittee. So what we had, we didn't have their photos, so we used a slick design just to showcase all the details. And at the bottom now we have the advisory committee. So in the advisory committee, we have subcommittees. So for instance, the policy and advocacy. So it has the objective, responsibilities, and the members. There's another subcommittee for the fundraising all the way down to the communication and outreach committee, sorry, and all the members. And then aside from that, we have another section for our impact. So
Sorry to interrupt, Sam, but I would like to highlight the part of the advisory committee and explain it more to our guests.
okay.
So to make sure that the declaration remains active and impactful, we have established the advisory committee. It's a diverse group of experts, advocates, and leaders committed to guiding the declaration's implementation. So the advisory committee is like the backbone of the declaration's strategic direction. It's made up of professionals with deep expertise in media, gender issues, advocacy, and fundraising. And to focus on specific areas of impact, the committee works through 4 subcommittees, as Sam showed: policy and advocacy, programs and activities, communication and outreach, and fundraising.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
So, yes, let me proceed. So we will go to the next section where we showcase the impact. So on the impact, there are 2 sections. So it's the spotlight on Rwanda, advancing the gender equality through media. So we have 2 blog posts, articles. So there's one for the women of impact, creating safe spaces, and there's this one for the Iriba News initiative. So the second section is for the success stories. So you can click on one to view each success story. So you can read it on the website and also comment or share it. So I'll go to the next section, which is the partners. So these are the partners who have partnered with the African women in media to make this possible. And then there's a navigation. I'm sure you've seen this one. It's prevalent in all the sections for the declaration. So it allows you to quickly move to sign the declaration in whichever section of the website you are. So it's a quick navigation to ease the process of signing the declaration. So in signing the declaration, there is the form. So in this form, we are collecting the data for the signers. So there's the first name, last name, and then you can sign as an individual or on behalf of an institution. So if you sign on behalf of an institution, it will bring out this field where you give the name of the institution. So if you are not an existing AWIM member, you select yes. If you select yes, it won't create for you an account because you're already an AWIM member. If you don't know, it will ask you to create a username, and also this option for uploading a profile photo. If you are signing as an organization, you upload the logo. If you're an individual, you upload the profile photo. There is also this feature which you implemented for we might have a few cases where the signer might want to be anonymous, such that their personal details are not publicly displayed on the website. So if they select just then I'll go to the next section where we are listing the signers, their name and their details will be hidden. And then there is some of the terms which we are asking for consent. And then after submitting the form, it will send you an email to verify your account. We are doing that so that to prevent bots or spammers from interfering with the platform. So you get a link to confirm your account. And then after confirming your account, you'll receive another email with a temporary password and your username. And you'll use that to log in. So when you log into the declaration, what you will access is a workspace. So the first step of the workspace is here. So in this first step, you'll need to select the stakeholder categories. So they are based on the 7 categories which are outlined on the declaration. So we have an option where a signer can choose to work on one or many action points or rather categories. So I had already created a workspace with populated data for this the demonstration. So I used this to show the first stage. So when you go to next, you will see I had chosen this action point for minimum actions for journalists and other content producers. So when you go to the next stage, it will show you your activities. So each action point has sub activities. So this one has two, and I have to work on them. So for instance, now this one, for the first one, the policy compliance article, it has 4 activities which I added. So you are not limited to adding the activities in each section. It follows the concept of a tasks list. So you can add, and then, so for instance, I had added 4 activities in this section 3.11. So having a meeting, creating a working plan, and if you look at the bottom, we have an algorithm that is able to calculate your completion rate, or rather state as between 1 and 100. So what the algorithm does, it checks what you selected and then aggregates the completion rate, and then gives you like a highlight. I'm at 80%, I'm at 60%, and so on and so forth. So for this demo, I added some dummy information to just showcase what will be happening on the individual's workspace. So I added all those items, and because they are all complete, I'm at 100%. So, and you can only submit the final work if it's at 100%. So this submission goes to the backend, and the AWIM coordinator will be able to follow through. So there's also a simple history, just gives you a log of the activities you've done. So sometimes you might delete probably an action here by mistake, and you don't know. So you can refer to this and see what you did last. And then after we do that, now there's the list of signers. So the list of signers will highlight all of the individuals and organizations who have participated in the signing process. So we have a visual interactive map showing the number of signers per country. So if you sign from Russia, it will highlight the same thing it has done with Chad, Kenya, and what have you. So these are the countries. The countries in brown are the countries which have signers. And if you highlight, it will show you the number of signers in that country. And then below now we have a list. So the list is able to automatically place the list all of the participants, or rather the signers, based on their completion. So the test user we are using for the demo is Levi, the one we saw from the previous screen that he has completed all of them. And he's an individual. That's why we show his photo, the same as this gentleman and the lady. And we have now this case of the person who chose to be anonymous, and they're from Cameroon. That's the only thing you can see for now. And they signed as on behalf of an institution. So after that, now you can go to check the profile for Levi, for that signer, to see what they have been able to work on. So it will load their profile. So you will see what he worked on. So if you remember from the previous, we had selected the third action points, the third category of action points. So it will tell you he chose minimum options for journalists and other content producers. His rate, the completion rate is 100%. And you're able to see all the items that he was able to work on. So the more the stakeholder categories you chose, the longer the list, and the lesser the. And then on the right hand side, you'll see the details of the signer. So this is his photo, his name, He signed as an individual, and then there is his bio. So for the person who chose to be anonymous, you will not see this personal information. And then now, after being ranked, you will see the badge. So there are three types of ranks. Dr. Yemisi will talk about them at the end. So this is a sample of how after rating they'll have the badge on their profile. So the other thing which we made sure we have implemented is security measures for the website. So we have done a lot of security. There are a lot of security measures which we've put in place, and we are filtering that data on the back end. Like we are we want to technically we call it sanitizing. Like we make sure that data is clean before we save it on the database. And also we have another feature which is powered by Google to make sure that no robot or automated machines are filling in the declaration or action points. The other feature we integrated is the feedback mechanism. So on the bottom left-hand side, there is a simple form. So if someone is working on the declaration, they can fill in and the message will reach to our backend and we'll be able to get it. It collects two types of feedback. So there's help if someone needs help, and also if they need to send some feedback, to share some feedback with AWIM. So basically that's an overview of how the platform is. So Lobna, over to you. If there's anything I might have left. So yes, thank you.
Sam.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, Dr. Imsi will share details about the ranking system badges and how they recognize signatory engagement. Doctor, the floor is yours. You can stop sharing the screen, Sam, now.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Thank you very much, Sam, and thank you for that walkthrough. And just to also clarify that we have 99 people who have signatories to the declaration as of today. Obviously, because it's a new platform, we're having to kind of repopulate that. And also there's some additional details that we need from the previous signers, so that's why you're not seeing them on the platform, but we currently have 99 signatories of the declaration. So what Sam just worked through is, more of the technical details. So when you go on the declaration website, you're able to read the declaration, you're able to sign the declaration. But what the platform allows you to do now is to action plan. So we created that user dashboard so that for each, let's say, for example, you signed the declaration as an organization. The declaration sets out the minimum standards of action for organizations that you've signed up to. And so in the back end, you can then, each of those minimum standards is then listed. And within each of them, you can then determine what action you want to take. So you can action plan. Within the action plan mechanism, I think, Sam, you didn't show that bit. You're able to kind of be very specific on exactly what action this is. So let's say, for example, you wanted to organize an event, you can kind of also add an additional task to that. You can upload documents, you can set yourself a timeline for completion, all of those things. And then again, shift your completion as you progress with it. So it just allows you to have a central spot where all your actions and plans is housed. And that you're able to document and track yourself. But then once you've completed all of those actions, you're then able to submit it to the advisory committee using the submission button at the bottom. So that's why on the demo site, you saw that that person that we use as an example had a 100% completion rate because they completed all of the actions and they've submitted those actions. But what I want to do now is to explain further on the ranking system. So as I mentioned at the beginning in my open remarks, one of the recommendations that came out of the conference last year from the people that were at the conference was that where ways for us to develop it for it to be active and for some kind of ranking system. So this is kind of an excellence marker ranking system, so that it's not so that the signatories who it's so that the signatories who sign the declaration are able to develop their actions, implement it, and be recognized for that implementation. And there's 3 categories of ranking: gold, silver, bronze. And even for each of these areas, when you're applying for your ranking, you determine which one you're applying to. So it is not the committee to determine which one you meet, but for you to determine which one you're applying to. And that would be because there's a set of criteria for each of these ranking systems that you then that you're able to demonstrate that you meet. Okay, so once successful, the applicant will then receive that confirmation, receive one of these badges based on whichever ranking you've been assigned, and that information will also be made publicly available on our website. So you saw on the example page for Levy, for example, that he had the gold badge on his profile, and so that it is something that's publicly available. And we also have resource pages so that any kind of we want to create a community where we're able to share resources. So we are producing resources ourselves, but then also the community will be producing resources as part of this journey of implementation. So we'll also have opportunities for each profile to have resources that they upload to the platform, but then also have their own kind of success stories and other content that they share with the community. Our hope is that this kind of excellence marker system is not just about looking good. It's not, you're not doing it just so that your organization appears to be, keeping to the commitments of the declaration, but it's a recognition that we're on a journey. That the moment you sign the declaration, you're beginning a journey of taking action, and that actually it is something that can be celebrated with your employees, with your funders, with your partners, with regulators, right? And they can begin to see areas in which they can actually support you further in implementation of the declaration. So that's a brief overview of what this ranking system is. It's something that we hope to continue to modify. Again, this is just the beginning. In terms of when this happens, so currently the advisory committee is working with a 2-year process. So that gives each signatory enough time to implement documents to evidence, right, before you then apply for that ranking. And therefore, once you have your ranking, that ranking remains in place for that 2 years until the next point of review, right? So again, that process, that review process and reapplication process means that we're not just kind of, applying once and then that's the end of that, but that it's a continuous development for all the signatories. So that's how the ranking systems work. And I hope that those on the call who are perhaps yet to sign the declaration would do so. Like I said, the numbers that you see on the website currently doesn't represent the number of signatories. It's because we're just implementing a new backend, a new system that actually creates a dashboard, a user dashboard and profile for signatories. So that's why you only see the 4 that you see on the screen now. So thank you very much for your attention in terms of the platform and how it works. I'll now hand over to Lobna, who's going to talk us through more about our plans for the next 16 days. Well, we've got 15 days now of activism. Over to you, Lobna.
Thank you, Doctor. We've run out of time, so let me give you a closer look at the ongoing 16 Days of Activism campaign. So as you know, it's a global movement that brings attention to the urgent need to combat gender-based violence. So this year, the declaration is contributing to this effort with a series of actually impactful initiatives. So first, we have the first declaration newsletter that highlights campaign activities and ways to get involved. Also, we have the new 5 articles that Sam showed on the website. These articles showcase 3 success stories that highlight and celebrate the impact of 3 declaration signatories from Uganda, Zambia, and South Africa. And we have 2 articles about 2 initiatives from Rwanda, the Ariba News and the Women of Impact. We also have her Media Diary podcast series that highlights voices addressing GBV in media. New episodes will be shared throughout the campaign, and we have infographics and posters to explore topics like AI's connection to GBV, the impact of deepfakes, and ethical journalism practices. So these visuals and content are designed to encourage discussion and raise awareness. I don't know if Dr. Agneta or Sam have anything to add, so we can open the floor now for questions or feedback.
No, it's just thank you very much, Lobna. Thank you, Sam, for the work, and obviously thank you very much to For Your Media Institute, Agneta, for all the support you've given us throughout this process. It's just now for us to ask for your continued support in terms of promotion of the declaration, and also for you to take the time to sign the declaration and give us feedback. So that feedback mechanism that Sam presented is a way for us to hear back from signatories in terms of how well the system works. And like I said, this is just the beginning. We're not, we hope we'll get things right first time around, but it's not always the case. So we welcome your feedback and your comments. Agneta, I'd love for you to maybe say some final words and then we can close for today.
Thank you, Yemisi. It looks great. It's actually the first time I see parts of this. I'm really happy about it. And I mean, now it's sort of up to all of us to spread the word that this exists and how it can be used. I just came to my mind now, it would be a great idea maybe to have some kind of Kigali Declaration ambassadors or coaches that could sort of follow up with new signatories and get them started with this and try to introduce new members or signatories. That was just an idea that came to my mind. And then we have the AWIM conference now in Dakar to further develop and design and think around how we can push and work with this in the best way.
Absolutely. I think that's an excellent idea, Agneta, and we should definitely discuss that further to see how we can implement that. So thank you, colleagues and friends, for your time today. Hopefully, please, like I said, continue to help us to promote the event. Promote the declaration, promote the platform, and we look forward to hearing from you on any feedback or any suggestions, ideas that you might have. And we really see this as a community initiative. Yes, it has been led by AWIM, but it is not just something of AWIM. It is for all of us. So thank you very much, and thank you, Agneta, for your time.